guys ready?
What's the plan, Bobby?
We're winging it, Jerry.
You always winged it.
We're gonna get killed.
What you mean, we, white boy? You ready?
Here we go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the OG NBA betting show. Got Wham, Bam, and Babano with me. Dutch will be back on the next, what are we on? Today's Tuesday, so he'll be back tomorrow. I'll go around the horn real quick. Babano, no games yesterday, but how's everything for you?
Very good. I legitimately thought Denver was going to compete with OKC, but we could tell once that game got to halftime, it was pretty much all over but the crying in Denver for the Nuggets in that game. So lost the Game 7 Denver play, but very happy to see Oklahoma City survive and find a way to get to the Western Conference Final. And my two primary futures are alive in the West. When you talk about Minnesota, I took Minnesota to win the West and the title before the season, and I did the same with Oklahoma City. Now, I put more on Oklahoma City because I really felt good about OKC. So I'm hoping OKC wins the West and the title, but I'll at least get out of there with something profitable, even if Minnesota wins this series and the conference. So I'm in a good spot in this series. So I'm not betting a series price or anything like that, but I'm excited to watch this series. I think it's going to be interesting. I think these are two young up-and-coming teams. We saw it last year. I think it's fitting. I like it. A change of the guard, something fresh here in the Western Conference Final. And you could say the same thing about the East. This is like the old Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing days. All we're missing, too, is Pat Riley or Jeff Van Gundy on the bench for the Knicks. But Knicks-Pacers, little old-school Eastern Conference Final. I'm old enough to remember when the wars of the 90s with the Knicks and the Pacers in the playoffs. So it's going to be great to see. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm stoked for these conference finals. I think they're fresh, exciting, interesting series, something a little bit different. I'm looking forward to seeing them both tip off.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm as excited as you, but I'm still gonna watch them. I'm looking forward to them. Wham Bam, let you stop by and come through the crib. What's good with you?
Yeah, man, I pushed my boy into the other room, y'all. Y'all know how it is. It's all good. Shout out to Dutch, man, not being here, but we gonna definitely get it in. Yesterday, he told me what he was on, so I know what he's liking today. He likes the Timberwolves. So we'll see how that plays out. Shout out to our guy Dutch. Shout out to the chat. He said now squatting. Yeah, hey, I gotta do what I gotta do, bro. Gotta do what I gotta do. But I'm here for the people. You already know. Last game, this Game 7, man, they gave up. They showed up a little bit in the first half. They gave up down the stretch, kind of what I thought they were going to do from the beginning of the playoffs as far as the Nuggets. But shout out to them. And I totally agree with you, Babano. This is definitely a fresh Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. We don't know the stories. There's new stories. These are story makers now. These are story makers for the Knicks. These story makers for Ant-Man. Is he going to be the number one face of the league? Is SGA the true best player in the world? Can he just whoop these guys up? Like, it's a good story maker here. I think these next few games here, and I think both of them are pushing to 6+ games. So it's going to be an interesting start. You muted, bro.
My fault. Let's talk about this first one though. Wolves and Thunder opened up -7, still sevens across the board. This total though, and I'm coming to Babano first with the total. Opened up 213.5, all the way up. I see 218.5 at a few shops right now. So it continues to climb. These are two of the better defensive teams in the NBA. Babano, why do you think this total continues to rise? And are you on the over?
I am, because I always say it's going to be higher scoring early in the series, and then the defense will take over later in the series. But I'll admit I didn't expect it to move quite this much. I mean, up to 218. That being said, if you look at the way these two teams, kind of went head to head in the course of the season, 217 was the fewest number of points in any head-to-head game between the Thunder and the Wolves during the regular season. I mean, they were a lot of higher scoring games. 3 of the 4 regular season games went over the total between these two teams. So there was a lot of offensive success. Both teams shot the ball pretty well. we'll see if that carries over. We saw Minnesota kind of unlock their offense in the last 2 games to beat Golden State, where, early in the series when they lost game 1, they only scored 88, and then they had that downward offensive performance in game 3. But then obviously in game 4 and 5, 117, 121, they shot a pretty good percentage there. So I thought it certainly where it was when it opened, this total, in that 213, 214, because that's really where this total was initially. And it's certainly gone up a bit since then. It was a little bit low. I think the number I have, I didn't even get the best of it. I got it when it was 216.5. That was earlier this morning. And even since then, it's gone up 2 more points. But I agree with the move. I think you're going to see the defenses tighten up as we go. I'm not so sure that's going to be game 1, especially with the layoff in play here for Minnesota. They've been off for a little bit of time. So I do like this over the total. I still think with the layoff, though, the Timberwolves with the points might be the value side in this series. Because when you think about Oklahoma City, hey, when their A game shows up like it did against Denver in game 7, they'll cover every number in this series when they play that way. They simply will. There's no question. When they play like that, there's no beating Oklahoma City. But you haven't always gotten that from this team. You've had these lulls. You've had these lapses. You've had these collapses in some of these games against Denver. And let's be honest, Denver's no Minnesota. Minnesota's deeper. Minnesota's fresher. Minnesota's healthier. Minnesota has a bench. Denver doesn't. A defense that's better, in my opinion, as well. Denver relied on Gordon, Murray, and Jokic and Brown. Brown played pretty well as well. There's a lot more that Minnesota can go to in this series. Look at the way Randall's played for them. Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, can take over. What if Naz Reid has a big series? There's just a lot more that Minnesota can throw at Oklahoma City, and very little teams can match Oklahoma City's depth, but Minnesota certainly is going to have a little bit more in that category than Denver did. So I think this is a good series. I think this is a very competitive series. I think we might be talking about Oklahoma City a little overvalued again, kind of like we were at times in the Denver series. So I took a small shot with the Wolves here in game 1, plus the points, 7.5. And I like over the total here as well.
Wham bam. That's a lot to digest right there. What do you think about this game?
Okay, so I totally agree with the full game T-Wolves. Me, him, and Babano, we all like full games with the Timberwolves here. I think the points, like you said, they're deeper. They're going to be not as lax or, not as tired, I will say, as Denver was. Denver had a lot more tired guys that didn't have enough players to rotate out there. So I totally agree with that. The offense, I think it is going to be in the early stages of this series, like you said, as well. So I do agree with the over in this game, just because I think Naz Reid and those boys are going to be trying to I think they're going to try to push the pace, I think, a little bit here too, because as much as both of these teams are really good defensively, and both teams are number 1 and number 2 in net rating in the month of May. So they're right there, neck and neck. I think this is as close as a matchup as we're going to get. I think there's more of a talent discrepancy in the next series than it is in this one. I think it's more closer in this one, just based off of both of them having a head and a good collection of role players. And I think the role players are going to make this series a series. So you're going to have to lead J-Dub to be there. You're going to need Jalen Williams to be there, Jay Will to be there, both of those guys to be very effective for the Thunder. You're going to need Caruso to outperform McDaniels, because those are the 2 hustle guys that I'm be watching in this series, McDaniels and Caruso.
Those are your 2 defensive stoppers, big time, each side.
Exactly. Yep. Who's impacting the game the most? I think those 2 guys are going to be showing who's going to win the game. And in this first game, I do think the Thunder starts off early. I like the Thunder in the first quarter, first half, and I like the T-Wolves in the full game. So T-Wolves in the full game. Yeah, my boy like that. T-Wolves full game plus 7.5, and Thunder first half. And I think if my boy Skee liking the over too, I think you guys are talking me on the over, because I think I was thinking that originally. Early stages, first game to game 2, those guys get a little bit over the total there. So, and I do think Ant goes over that threes too today, Dia. So I'm rocking with that. I'm not playing that yet, but I'm liking that a lot there as well. But Chet too. So the thing is with me is that I think that Oklahoma has the potential to have a better team,
but Chet be playing low. He play a little like a little hoe sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Chet plays like a little hoe sometimes, so it's gonna be up to him. But that's how I'm rocking with it though. I'm taking plus 7.5 with the Wolves.
Quinn says if Wham got the fro, that bet is a go. I I like Wolves and over, man. I mean, I guess everybody likes it, huh?
I gotta get up out of here. I appreciate y'all though.
I have not heard any other
All right,
opinion
Wham Bam.
besides ours, but Wham, see ya. There he is.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wham. He was in his car to join the show today, so credit to him.
Yeah, appreciate him sliding through all the time for sure. The chat is funny, but man, Babeno, I like the Wolves. I like the over. Minnesota team total over. I don't think you're getting the best defensive performance in this first game.
No,
there's a chance maybe Minnesota comes out rusty, but other than that,
I think the zigzag theory will work in this series. I really do, because I think both of these teams off a lot. My thought process with this series, maybe even more so, Skee, than Pacers, Knicks in the East, which we'll talk about tomorrow. I think if you bet the loser of the previous game, you're going to make money in this series. I think it's going to be one of those series. If OKC loses tonight, you're going to want to be on them in game 2. Minnesota, even if Minnesota loses and or doesn't cover tonight, you're going to want to be on Minnesota in game. I think it's going to have that back and forth feel to it, where both teams have been very good off. You know how good OKC's been off a loss all year, but even Minnesota, their response level after a bad game has been good. So later in the season, so I think that's my approach, Skee. I'm on Minnesota tonight, but moving forward, like if Minnesota wins or loses, but covers tonight, but loses the game, I'll probably take Minnesota again in game 2. And that's just my general thought process here, is I want to be on the team that was the straight up loser of the previous game, because I think this series has that real back and forth possibility to it.
I could see that for sure. Props to look at, maybe Gobert unders, because I think if they start to ignore him and just double other people, you might have to get him off the floor. And I like Naz Reid overs kind of for the same reason, and he's had success versus OKC too. So I like his points and rebounds tonight, 15.5. That seems like a pretty good bet to me. I also was thinking about Rando PRA, but the reason I didn't bet Rando is just I feel like he's been playing so well in the playoffs. Like his number is at a premium now. Like, we're buying low on Naz Reid because he had a couple lower scoring games.
I like it. Great value.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree totally. I think there's big value in Naz Reid props tonight. And this is a step up too. Rebounds, points, you name it, for Naz Reid. 100%. I think it's definitely something to look at here tonight. And I agree with Action Jackson. Chet Holmgren's got to step the fuck up a little bit. I know they beat Denver still. I didn't love his series overall. And now you're going to be challenged by multiple bigs, multiple bodies that can be thrown at him in the paint, around the rim, but from this Minnesota team. He's going to have to step it up a notch or two in this series for the Thunder.
Man, the chat is saying some good stuff today. Chet could hang glide on the Dorito. I do think he can get bullied tonight. I really do. Free Sauce likes Ant over his rebounds.
One thing that concerns me, and I don't know if it concerns you, Skee, or anyone that's taking Minnesota tonight, but is maybe the Thunder getting through Denver, even though it was not easy, and getting that big blowout Game 7 win, is now the can breathe a little bit of the pressure's off our back. We're at least in the conference final. We can relax now a little bit and play the way we know we're capable of, because there's that little part of me inside that's thinking, wow, they survived Denver. They know they got to play even better in this round and beyond, and maybe they blow them out by 20 or 30 tonight. I know that's a possibility, but I just think Minnesota, undersold a little bit entering the series. We'll see.
Man, can I be honest real quick one time? I can't fucking stand OKC. I hate them. I fucking despise them. I do not like OKC. I don't like anything about them, bro. I like maybe Hardenstein. That's about it. I don't like them. I from personality to the way they act soft on the court sometimes, and the way they just trick off games, I hate it all. I don't like nothing about it.
Oh boy.
I think that they can
I thought
get punked in this
SGA
game.
started slow and got better. And I like the way he answers the media. He handles the media like a professional, that guy. It's all about the team. It's never about him. That I love about him.
I'm gonna be even more specific. I think OKC are pussies. I think Minnesota will punk them in this series. That's how I feel. All right. On that note, we're gonna move over to best bets. There we go. So I'm first up. Damn, Wham Bam is usually first up. I'll go first today. My best bet for this show will be I'll go Nas Reed. I got over 15.5 points plus rebounds. He averages 20.2 on the season versus OKC in 4 games this season. He averaged, I think, 33.5. It's just a good matchup for him to be out there on the floor, get a lot of opportunities to score and rebound. So I like him. Little spot on Nas Reed, over 15.5 rebounds as my best bet for the show. And Babano, it's up to you to give him something to take to the window and take us home.
Yeah, let's go with best number out there is 218 over the total here in game 1. OKC and Minnesota. I just think there's points. I remember OKC Denver. I remember cashing a ticket with game 1 in that series. Flew over the total. I think defenses will get better and as the series goes on. And once we get into the deep waters, we'll see some unders here. It would not shock me with how these teams are capable at the defensive end of the basketball court. But I think tonight in game 1, there's going to be points. And I like over 218 here with actually over 217.5 minus 112 at DraftKings. So shop around. We'll go with that. Minnesota, Oklahoma City, over 217.5 for best bet for game 1 of the Western Conference Final. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button. The NBA is a hell of a drug. And you're looking at the plugs. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the motherfucking video. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed, and let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah, man.
You guys ready? It's the plan, Bobby.
We're winging it, Jerry.
You always wing
We're
it.
gonna get killed.
What you mean, we, white boy?
You ready?